Hello there and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I want to have a quick look at the Saab-105 in hangar before we go into sort of any gameplay, because I came across something really interesting. I'm talking here about the battle rating 8.3 rank 5 premium one, so that you can buy for golden eagles. It's around 8,000, 9,000, something like that. And here it is written ÖE. That is because it's the first Austrian vehicle in the game, aka the Swedish built it and sold it to the Austrians. Now, Austria means Österreich. If you are from Austria, you call your own country Österreich, and so it's also pronounced in German, because, you know, very closely related language. But ÖE is wrong. It should be OE, because in German OE is another way of writing Ö. And so in official documents, to also make it acceptable internationally, you would write it OE, because other languages don't have the Ö. So it's a bit wrong. It's not game breaking, but it's a funny thing. But it gets funnier because here in the stat card it says ÖE. In the symbol for the premium tech tree, it's OE, which would be correct. It's just one of those Gaijin moments, right? Now let's talk about the performance of the thing in battle. One final thing in the hangar though. It was supposed to be getting the RB24Js, which could, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 30 Gs. So after the protests by the player base, aka the power creep shitstorm, it went back to RB24s. Another thing is that this is the only such plane that has the combination of rockets or missiles in this case and gun pods. The two other versions that we have of this plane, which are very similar, are the SK-60B and the Saab-105G. I just want to talk about those two aircraft also in quite a bit, but I just wanted to say that they have better suited ground pounding capabilities, at least the 105G variant, that is. So finally, let's have a look a little bit at this plane in battle, shall we? So let's talk about this plane's performance, and I have to say it's a bit too slow, and the only salvation factor I think is the air start. If you try to turn and you try to also make a corkscrew maneuver, be prepared to be surprised by something nasty. Watch this. So over G, 7G is over G. I roll a bit. Apparently this plane is simply too heavy, but the wing spars are adjusted for the correct weight. And this is why I mentioned the previous plane, the SK-60B, which apparently is too light. Now if you miss your boom and zoom attack, you have the pleasure of having multiple aircraft behind you. And at this battle rating, you better make those corkscrew maneuvers, because you want to evade the missiles, right? 1 and 2 so far. And we just carefully look behind us. There is number 3 and number 4. So you need to roll. You need to pull the elevator. Because the thing is, if you want to just simply look for orientation where your airfield, for example, is, and for a quick moment, you know, you observe the plane behind you, and then you just look away. Okay, I have to adjust my way a little bit. That will happen. So, yeah, my experience in this thing, which is also quite a bit of a brick. And yeah, I know there are the gun pods and I know there are the air-to-air missiles, but this is the most versatile overall layout. Because you only have two 30mm, sometimes they spark in, so they are not one-hit wonders. I would really make use of the start in front of your team, and I would focus then also on enemy premium players, because they're also having the situational awareness of a goldfish. Donk. So that is the pro chat food, in my opinion. Now the 30mm, sometimes it's very hard to get them on target. Other premium players, again, are your natural food. Honestly, this thing can also be fun. one wingtip shot off, so let's rebalance ourselves by the hands and the guns of the enemy. Yeah, we're in perfect flying condition. What a shame. This thing is a real blink. Now, let's have a look at one battle that was the best result so far, and I think it was the third battle that I played. Again, the flaps come off really quick. The plane doesn't like high speeds. The plane doesn't like low speeds. The plane doesn't look any sort of mid speeds. It doesn't like to turn. It doesn't like to accelerate. It doesn't like to slow down. It is a brick with wings. And yeah, even according to the in-game stats, this thing has the wrong weight. And that would explain the absolute brickiness of this. So you only can hope that there is a furball, that the enemies lose interest in you, because at a certain point when you lose your early energy advantage due to spawning 8 to 9 kilometers in front of your team with an air start and speed, you have an early advantage. If not for that, the plane would be not good, even worse than it is right now. So it's just this early game advantage, and that you don't get focused, that you stay with your team and be very opportunistic. But that's not really a sign for a good plane, is it? Would I recommend this plane? Not really, because there is the chance that Gaijin will fix this. Apparently, those issues were already brought forward to the dev responsible for flight models. And we just wait for when he feels like fixing it, right? At this moment, I'm just looking at this patch and thinking, okay, what is not broken? Rather than, okay, can I play it? This is not real sarcasm, that's just realism. Or being realistic. You see, that kind of is funny. Honestly, I think it's a very interesting plane. I know that it's not really the world's most competitive plane, but being that much of a brick and then being sold for almost 40 or just above $40 or euros, that is quite a lot. So again, there we can see that's a bit of a spark, and I couldn't really do the fine adjustment. The plane just wouldn't allow me to do that. With the movements, it doesn't have the responsiveness. It almost feels like a little bit of a behavior of a medium bomber. For a fighter or even for a trainer, it just feels too heavy. I cannot give you the exact data and comparisons for anything else, but eventually, if you are in a one-on-one, this is probably one of the not so great planes that you could fly. And again, you have to be optimistic, and you have to be very patient. You have to be opportunistic, and that is, again, not a sign of a good plane. For example, here on the Seahawk, I think I've learned my lesson. So I sacrificed one of my 2 missiles for this almost safe kill, because the 30 millimeters, sometimes they need a bit of a longer burst to not just hit the enemy, but hit the enemy multiple times. As you can see, one of the first hits was not enough. And that is unreliability. That is not me being confident in a plane's abilities in comparison to the opposition. I'm glad that it's not overpowered. I'm glad that it hasn't the RB-24 chase. But that doesn't mean that you should just drive the flight model into the ground. But the plane should be worth the money, right? So the lack of quality control, the lack of oversights here and there, it's just making me lose interest in even making content about stuff. There are so many things that I requested a test drive in Gaijin, including this one, because yeah, new stuff, let's have a look at it. And then you just realize it's broken. And then you talk people through this, right? And then people, why can't you enjoy the game? Yeah, because it's broken. What else is there for me to say than to fix it? Or I don't know if it's broken, but it just handles like an absolute potato. And you get easy kills like that you could get in, I guess, every other plane as well. So what's there to say? Is it worth it? It's up to you. Do you hope for this to get improved, fixed? Are you okay with this? Are you a fanboy? Are you some person that is free of pain? I don't know. I'm just looking at this and I'm not showing you the bad bits, all the bad bits where somebody just where I couldn't do anything against it. Those were now cherry picked scenes, and I hope that you see what I tried to show you. This plane struggles in its current state, but the current state shouldn't be a thing in the first place. I'm glad that it's not all apart, but I'm sad that it's just too bricky for what it should be. There is just no sensible middle ground, and this is why I cannot recommend this plane. In the future, I hope that I can get another look at it when it gets changed. We'll then see if it gets changed for the better or for the worse, because with Gaijin you never know. And for me, that's literally it. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this kind of presentation, and also the kind of gameplay, the plane itself, and what you think about its brickiness if you have a bit more experience with such planes. And we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.